So I was scrolling through my Netflix and I landed on this show called Gameboys Level Up Edition. The name sounded silly, but I saw that they had masks on in the picture and it was made in 2020. I don't really like watching subs, but I really did want to see it. They also spoke English sometimes, which is pretty cool.
Arrange a rematch soon, so don't forget to like and follow my page. And
I ended up watching the whole season in one night. The way they introduced the boys Cairo and Gavreel meeting in an online video game is done very well. The only weird thing is that Gav is pretty forward and open about his feelings for Kai pretty quickly, but Kai is grumpy and closed off about his feelings. I feel like this dynamic works very well. Gav reveals he's trying to court Kai into becoming his boyfriend. When Gav gets a date with Kai through video chat, they have a heart-to-heart about their lives. Gav has no family and Kai's dad is in the hospital with the virus. This grows their relationship very nicely. We are later introduced to this girl named Pearl, who is Gavreel's best friend and his ex. Kai was reasonably uncomfortable with this at first when she answers Kai's video call to Gav, who is busy in the shower. Kai ignores Gav for a while. When Kai denies being jealous, he says it's because he wasn't there for him. I love the way Gav handles this whole situation by singing a song for Kai. Then Kai gives Gav a chance to explain his relationship with Pearl. He reassures him by telling him that they really are just friends now. Gav then talks about his grandma's passing, and now he's happy again because of Kai. Kai reveals his dad was recently incubated. Gav's failed attempt to try and visit Kai so that they can meet in person for the first time is pretty sad. Later on, the boys do play games with Pearl that created a cute bonding moment for all of them. Kai's feelings start to grow for Gav. There's an iconic moment when Gav makes Kai turn his head so that it looks like they were kissing. We are later introduced to another one of Gav's exes named Terrence, who already has bad intentions. Terrence contacts Kai secretly and feeds him a bunch of negative and false information about Gav, causing a strain in their relationship. Kai is saying a bunch of bad stuff to Gav and ends up accusing Gav of using his grandma's passing to gain sympathy, and Gav ends up crying. That scene literally made me cry. Kai is unable to contact Gav to apologize. As this is happening, that snake Terrence is making his move on Gav. Kai ends up sending Gav a video of him making a fool of himself for forgiveness. Kai sincerely apologizes to Gav. My heart just fluttered in that moment, and Gav forgives him. It's so cute. Later on, Terrence creates a group chat with Kai and Gav so that he can ruin their relationship again. Pearl unexpectedly joins. Terrence reveals that he wants to get back together with Gav, and Gav rejects him. Kai was then put on the spot when Terrence asked him if he even likes Gav. The next episode continues on with the big question: can Kai say out loud that he actually likes Gav? He wasn't given a chance to answer because Gav freaked out, worried about what Kai was gonna say, and ends the call. Even I was scared about what he would foolishly say. Later on, Pearl invites Kai and Gav to an online date where they get drunk and have a good time. Kai's brother calls him and tells him that their dad isn't doing well and that he blames him. That's so messed up. During a late night call with Gav notices Kai is sad. Kai then tries to tell him why. Unfortunately, Kai's mom calls him with a tear running down her face. That's when I immediately knew what had happened. And I also started crying with Kai. His father had passed away, and Gav then tries to comfort Kai. I love that Gav calls Kai to check up on him after he and Pearl send him some flowers. Kai then gets reminded of his old friend Risa. Kai then explains that she publicly posted that he isn't into girls. Kai was scared about his family finding out. He then ran away, and his dad went after him. That's how his dad got the virus. Good thing Kai's brother walks in and apologizes for blaming him. When Kai calls his mom, he tells her he's sorry for being gay. I cried again, especially after she reassures him not to hide who he is and that she still loves him no matter what. Later on, Kai tells Gav that he changed his username to Gav's baby. This is a huge step in the relationship. Pearl has been talking to Terrence and sends Kai and Gav his apology video. They accept it. I personally wish he didn't come back, but whatever. During a group call with Pearl, the boys keep doing boyfriend things and making Pearl feel like a third wheel. It's funny to see how far they've gotten. Later on, Gav gets Kai to call him baby for the first time when they have a little gift exchange. It's just so cute. Kai's mom informs him that they have to move in with their grandma because she can't afford the condo anymore since their dad passed away. Kai tells Pearl about it first, then tells Gav that he needs to tell him something in person. When Gav drives to Kai, he gets into a little tire trouble. Kai can't wait, so he reveals that his mom wants them to move. Gav is sad, but he keeps telling Kai a lot of sweet things. The call drops. Thankfully, Pearl comes in to save the day. She picks up Kai to get to Gav, then the big moment finally happens. At this point, the show then stops doing the whole video recording webcam stuff for a while to an actual filming scene in public when the boys meet up. It's a bizarre transition, but that scene made me cry. They even say I love you to each other. Make sure you keep watching after the credits too. There's one scene after that where the boys get affectionate with a plastic wall between them. It's just so cute. I missed this the first time watching though. Then there's this cute montage of Kai and Gav hanging out. It's pretty crazy seeing them together. After that, they go back to their homes. While Kai is streaming, he meets up with an old friend named Wesley. Apparently Wes lives next to Kai's grandma. Gav sees this and gets jealous. Gav hides his feelings, but the boys do have a funny, cute talk about it. Their relationship is so cute. But obviously Wes has some feelings for Kai. I was hoping that wasn't the route they were taking, but whatever. Gav is still hiding his feelings though. During a three-way call, Pearl tells Kai how protective Gav can get and she witnesses them call each other baby. Pearl's reaction is amazing. During all this, Gav still tries to hide his jealousy and the fact that he's upset about Kai moving. Terrence comes back into the picture because he notices Gav feeling a little left out since Kai and Wes are hanging out a lot. Gav opens up and he gives him some advice. Later on, Kai and Gav are having dinner in a video call and Gav gets a little emotional because Kai wants to have dinner with him instead of his family. It was just so cute and sad. I cried too. Kai then gets the idea to hug the pillow Gav gave him and Gav does the same. Later on in the episode, there's this weird scene where Wes and Gav take off their shirt in front of Kai. But it was pretty funny. Oof, then during a group call with Pearl, it is revealed that Gav is jealous. Pearl is just surprised. Later on, Kai sees the conversation Gav is having with Terrence, and this ends in a huge fight with them screaming at each other about their insecurities. Pearl then makes a group chat with Wes, Kai, Gav, and Terrence. It's then revealed that Gav is still upset about Kai moving. After Kai and Gav leave, there's a hint to Wes and Terrence liking each other. Pearl is understandably weirded out. Kai and Gav meet in person where they just end up crying and being upset. When the boys do see each other again, they apologize to one another and Kai reveals that his mom is giving them a week to stay together before he has to leave. After a sweet talk, the boys actually kiss. I wasn't even expecting that to happen. I loved when they played the same song they played when they kissed with the plastic between them. It was just so perfect, especially when they got back to Gav's place and they met up with Pearl in person. It was so nice seeing them all together. Also for this episode, just make sure you don't skip the credits because there are 2 more scenes that play after. You get to see them dance and then you get a little intimate scene where Kai and Gav are in bed together. Unfortunately, I did not enjoy the last episode. I feel like it could have been done a lot differently. But how in the world did Wes and Terrence match out of everyone else on that site? The cast and crew definitely put a lot of heart into this series. I applaud the actors for letting us into their homes and for operating the camera sometimes when they were filming. I later found out that this show already aired on YouTube from May 2020 through September 2020. I was lucky enough to see this added to my Netflix feed in December of 2020. Apparently this show is pretty popular in the Philippines because this is the first BL series to ever happen there. The Level Up edition of Gameboys on Netflix has subtle differences from the YouTube version. Episode 1 and 2 on YouTube are actually reshot and combined into the first episode on Netflix. There's apparently some other differences as well. I recommend the Netflix version though, just for the enhanced experience. I also recommend watching on YouTube and reading some of the comments on the episodes. Like when someone gives some insights to non-Filipino viewers such as myself, or even just some funny or relatable comments. Someone even points out why Gav brings his phone into the shower and how that builds up the story more. And what's next for these characters is that there's actually a spin-off series that focuses on Pearl. As the making of this video, all the episodes have been released on YouTube. The series does start off by the computer screen, just like the Gameboys. Later on they do drama filming. Kai and Gav do appear once. The conversation they have is cute. I did want to point out what Kai says here to Pearl. He says the same thing she said to him when he met Gav.
Natin, your story is different from mine.
Cairo, my story is different from yours, okay?
The chemistry between Elijah and Kokoy, I hope I'm saying his name right, is just beautiful. When you look up this show on YouTube, you can see hours and hours of interviews they've already done. A lot of those are not in English subtitles though. They seem like pretty good friends to this day. Kokoy and Elijah still call each other baby off screen, even during some interviews. I can't end this video without mentioning how excited I am for season 2 of Gameboys. Seems like there's a lot of drama to come. From the look of this screenshot, they're probably going to be doing half screen film and half drama film, just like they did with Pearl Next Door. I like the way Pearl Next Door handled this better than season 1 of Gameboys. And apparently there's a movie in the works as well. Either way, I'm very happy I discovered this show and that their story is going to continue. I will definitely be watching on YouTube this time. I sincerely feel attached to these characters. I was not expecting to cry as much as I thought because I thought this was a comedy. These actors really do a great job at portraying the characters from great jokes to realistic and relatable problems they face. I highly recommend rewatching it or maybe even checking out Pearl Next Door. I found that show to just be okay though.
Excuse me.
Also, if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff of Gameboys, look at Kokoy De Santo's YouTube channel. Some of his videos are not subtitled though, but it's worth a watch. He seems to be the most active on social media than the other people, but please show your love to the cast and crew. I'll link their socials down below. I want to apologize now for any mispronunciations or misunderstandings I got. This is my first BL series and the community seems so nice and welcoming, but there's definitely a language barrier and Google Translate doesn't always work. There were a lot of things I did want to talk about, but I did not want to make this video too long. I can't stop thinking about this show since I discovered it around last week. I rewatched this show so many times now, so I made a video to sort of release my feelings about it. Anyways, thank you for watching.
Yes, joke me, daddy.